Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for sorry, I'm just chugging down fluids. It is time for everybody's favorite segment, and it is called Dave Meltzer's Dumb Moment of the Week.
Just in, we have confirmed that Dave Meltzer fears PWT and flutes.
So Dave Meltzer responds to this a fellow Phil, who says, "You think it's funny, but it's true. Dave has said they're close in the past. 500K on max puts them right in the range. Cope. You're just dumb if you think they do 500K. I'm so sorry. You're just an idiot. You don't actually look at any numbers other than Meltzer's, which have all been proven to be lies." Meltzer says, live and same day, they've beaten Raw frequently because Netflix viewers watch late. Why do Netflix viewers watch late, Dave? And then why is it, Dave, that on the night of, Raw is number 1, and then throughout the week, it falls down to 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7, then exits the top 10, and then the next week, Raw is number 1 on the day of, and then it falls down? Why? Why? Is that because everyone's watching later? Or is it because there's people watching later, which puts them even higher than you're giving them credit for, which is what keeps them in the top 10. And then AEW, it's different. You have more, your peak is watching live, and it's nowhere near the amount of people watching Raw live. And then after, but you're just lying and saying they are, because you're trying to say there's 500K congruent to like watching at the same time peak for AEW on Max. Why would that be the case? Why do people watch later on Netflix, Dave? Because it's streaming? So why wouldn't that same logic apply to Max? Because it's streaming. Is it because you're a dumb liar? Is it?
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Is that why? You guys like the new sounds tonight or what? Is that why, Dave? Why? Why wouldn't the same logic apply? Because you don't study the business?
Stupid idiot.
Because you're tangled up in a web of lies, man. Like what? Why? Prove it. Prove that all of them, that the majority watch later, and then prove that that's not the same thing that happens on Max, and then I'll shut the fuck up and go, wow, I was wrong. Dave, you got me on that one. And then I'll play you a E-flute for when you get a smart moment of the week. It's why the E-flute's in place, Dave, because we give you the benefit of the doubt, but you're a cornball. So Dave says, this is well ahead of recent weeks. If you throw in Max, may not be this week because I expect Raw to be way up after SummerSlam for the entire week. This week should be in the range of last week's Raw. He's such a shilling kook. So we move along here. Dave Meltzer has this. He posts, AEW did 711,000.18. Doesn't include Max, which skews heavy, 18 to 49. And then it's like, Dave, why would that matter when you yourself finally caught on to something that WBD looks at since the 2010s? And that's like the 25 to 54 or whatever demo that Switchblade was talking about, friend of the show. Why are you like, it skews heavy in the 18 to 49? It's just silliness. And again, like, what's going to be the excuse when they go back down to 600,000? So then where's this 100,000 just disappearing? Well, they're watching other stuff. So then they didn't all go to Max. Like, what happens then? The Max numbers is the same then? Was there an increase on Max? Was there a decrease on Max? Like, he's just making it up as he goes because we can't prove anything fully. All we can prove is that they're not doing 100,000 or more on Max. They're just not, because again, that would just be NBA level. It's insane to think that they're even doing close to Raw, and especially when you factor in internationally. He won't even touch internationally because he knows, like, Raw is number 3 in Canada, and then number 4 in Mexico, and number 6 in whatever country, and it's there all week, dude. And like, he won't even touch that because he knows, like, if you factor in international for NXT, they smoke Dynamite. Dave Meltzer says AEW was first in the time slot, second for the day. The actual 18 to 49 was a 0.53. What the bro? How? Oh my God, man. Where's my poor people don't like AEW?
You know, poor people don't like AEW.
A 0.53. Where? How do you just make that up? Which means only 33.6. Do you guys see it? 33, Brian, 33%. He's just going based off this 33 he's made up in his head. of people 18 to 49 have access to TBS. This tells why streaming is so important. Right, so streaming's so important, but the Netflix shit, blah. But Max, which is like the lowest fucking piece of the pie in the streaming world. Oh yeah, that's just fucking doing like 700K by my math. Like, what are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about, Dave? Oh, just because Max doesn't talk about how great the show did. Yeah, but it does for every other sport when it does over 1 million and they're fucking and the max numbers are included. When the max numbers are 168,000K for NBA, and they do 2 million watching or whatever the fuck, and then they go 160 some thousand was on our streaming. They tout that. We know that WBD will tout that. They love that. They praise it. They're like, oh my God, what a success. So you mean to tell me that AEW's doing 500 to 700K or whatever your bullshit math? I can't even do the math because it's so fucking redacted. You mean to tell me that many people are watching on fucking Max and they're not going, holy fucking shit, what a smash hit success we have beating fucking UEFA and fucking NBA games and beating LeBron James and shit on streaming. It's an anomaly. I mean, the cables, whatever, the live viewers or whatever, but the fucking streaming numbers are almost at 1 million. What a fucking, it's beating the fucking live numbers on TV. Is that what they expect us to believe? Like, why wouldn't someone say that? Why would somebody not fucking praise that on one of these calls or something? Why would they not show them in their sports thing? When they're like, hey, we own all these properties, we're splitting into 2 companies, and here's what you can see in one company, here's what you can see in the other company. Why did they not fucking show that or say that? Because it's just bullshit. It's just utterly bullshit. The people that are gone from the 100,000 viewers that they lost since last year, you're seeing like 50,000 of them maybe are watching on Max, and then you're seeing 50,000 to 100,000 people are still floating around on cable or whatever the fuck, and we'll throw it on when it's on, when there's nothing else on, or when there's something interesting on that they want to see when it's on. And that's why they did this rating. Like next week, if it's back down to 615,000, what is Dave going to say? Where's those 100,000 people miraculously gone? Back to streaming or what? So Ariel, again, Dave's accusing people of being shills. Why? He's projecting because he is, in fact, a fucking shill. And Ariel Helwani's putting over Seth Rollins. Swerve was the highlight of the weekend, IMO. That's wrestling at its finest. So Dave Meltzer has to interject and just spurg out and say shit that has nothing to do with anything. He goes, wait, something is really fishy here. So Dave has a fucking conspiracy theory for you brainwashed sickos, you fucking wackos. Give me an X-File. Actually, hit the X-Files, Phil. He says, well, wait. Actually, Brian, something is really fishy here. 1, Ariel knows John Pollock. 2, I did an interview for Ariel's site a few days after. I don't know if it was printed as it was for a printed story on the subject, explaining that it was all scripted weeks in advance and when the cash-in was scheduled. No, Dave, you didn't explain it all. He tries to take credit for people's shit. John Pollock said, I was told this, and then he said it on his show. And then Meltzer said, well, Pollock, just like we said on this show, Pollock would look like such a fucking asshole if he just came out and said this. Like, he gains nothing by putting this out there, so he must have heard it rather reliably for him to just say, I was fucking told this thing. And then Dave breaks down the idea behind it, and if the injury, it's a minor injury, but it's not really real, but it's kind of real, Brian. And Dave does this Spurg thing where he takes credit for it and pretends like he's adding context, but it's all just shit he made up in his mind. It's really just discerning what we all assume from Pollock and what people like myself said, like, yo, they didn't handle that the way that fucking Alexa Bliss was handled in her injury. Yo, so does that mean Goldberg's time got cut off even more? This shit's a work, dude. It's either 50-50 a work or not. It's pro wrestling. Dave, Ariel doesn't read everything that goes on his fucking site, right? He launched this platform. He hired people to fucking, and why they're giving you interviews and talking to you in the first place is beyond me. And some people have said Ariel's little experiment here hasn't worked out so well, and I don't know. I'd have to look into that more, but I like Ariel Helwani. I watch a show, but Dave is just like, Ariel knows John Pollock. Okay, so what? So he didn't go and say, he doesn't listen to all of John Pollock's shit. Who gives a fuck? He didn't call John Pollock and go, so what do you know? Tell me all the dirt. So Ariel didn't want to know. The storyline gets stooged. See, we live in this sick culture because of fucking Meltzer and these sheets where it's about being first and being right and being, we were right and you were wrong. See, we were right and we were kind of right and we're stooging the storylines. We're going to tell you what happened and be right about it before you can know what happened and be surprised by it. Like, that's what they're fucking doing. And so Dave, for some reason, thinks there's a problem with a guy like Ariel who primarily covers MMA and then uses his platform to get pro wrestlers on there and give them a place to speak while also fucking promoting these pro wrestlers to MMA fans and vice versa. And he's kind of working with them. Like, he's not entirely trying to get them to pull the curtain back. And he is just kind of going with who's hot and shit. He wants more eyeballs. A lot of fucking media is doing this, like working with WWE and shit, because it's hot right now. What can anyone say? Wrestling's back, baby. But with Dave, he like thinks there's a conspiracy afoot because Ariel's like fanning out like Dave does when he's like, oh, Mascara Dorada walked the ropes and Mystico and my guy, I mean, they just had a brilliant match. The rope work, Bryan. It was just, so he's marking out, and that's okay when Dave does it. But it's not okay for Ariel Helwani to mark out and go, dude, the best surprise for me was Seth Rollins as a fan. That's not okay, Dave, you piece of shit. So he goes, it was all a work, and I explained it on his site, Bryan, but he didn't study and learn the business. My only question was if they would go through with the cash-in on that date or change the date. And Ariel's like, I have to admit, I got worked. So because Ariel doesn't instantly believe you, who's a proven fucking liar.
Liar!
And John Pollock, he's okay, I guess. Then that means that Ariel can't be worked as a fan and enjoy wrestling like we hope all of you fucking
Wrestling's not fake!
Good for me, not for thee. And then O'Shea Jackson, fuck yeah, dude. Here, I got to retweet this. He goes, he just didn't believe you and chose to believe something else. It's not that crazy. Fuck yeah. And then Disco goes, you're bragging about a spoiler? Exactly, dude. You're bragging about spoiling that shit for everyone? So Meltzer says, RAW isn't doing anywhere near 1.3 million. The RAW number would be in my story on the site Tuesday with Max well ahead.
The best guy is Tony Khan.
Oh my God, he's such a fucking shill, dude. This is the lie because we can't pull his card, dude. And he's going to keep doing this, keep pushing to try and get AEW in the conversations. They need to move away from Meltzer and all this shit, dude.
Exactly, no pop.
It only hurts them, and this is fucking crazy to be like, they're well ahead. They're well ahead of Netflix, man. Just think about that. Dude, Max can't be well ahead of fucking Netflix when it comes to this shit.
Poor people don't like AEW.
It's just madness. And read on my site where we're doing a 50% off sale. Let me reaffirm bullshit in your brains. And here's Dave on his site.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
See, he's fucking mad that WWE fans mark out over Brock, but here's fucking Dave all night glazing because they did 711,000 viewers.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
It's just projection, bro. So Dave Meltzer. So here's fucking Sidgwick, who's just a ball kiss, bro. He's one of these fake smart guys who would get beat in an IQ test by any fucking average blue-collar dude who did like a year of college then dropped out. Would beat Sidgwick in these fucking, and Dave Meltzer's in an IQ test, okay? These guys are fucking not smart people. Sidgwick, another very strong Dynamite. Feels like they're on a long, steady streak of uncomfortable league wins without any tricky fixtures. And then JD's like, lifeless, directionless, dull, all of the above. Yep, it's Wednesday. I'm over it now. Oh. And then Meltzer says, don't pay attention to bad faith people. The most bad faith motherfucker. The guy who tries to tell us that Dynamite's way ahead of Raw. So Raj responds to Dave's conspiracy and is like, or dude, Ariel doesn't live and die off wrestling rumors and he got surprised. Why is that a bad thing? This is what makes wrestling fun, because Dave doesn't care about that. He doesn't care about wrestling. He cares about him and his fucking ego, and so does his circle jerk puppet group of fucking redacts who all circle and float and blow each other. So Meltzer says, this is what JD responds. JD versus Meltzer. He says, Dave, you are as every bit of bad faith that has ever existed in this space since AEW was created. Before then, you are a product of Tony Khan in the last stages of your career. A fucking liar. It's actually worse than bad faith. What started out, it's fucking pathetic because he doesn't own a stake. So it's just like his Mark fantasies come to life. What started out as a company that was needed has died off into a company that has brainwashed its fan base into thinking it's still every bit as good as it used to be. It lacks direction, a true vision, excitement, and any sort of life whatsoever. This fucking show is terrible and is two of the most mindless and boring hours in this space. Oh, gabagoo. I got to do old school JD a bit because he called me out. He's like, I'm not really Dice. And I'm like, well, I'll go back over here now. Oh. But yeah, dude, he's going back at Melty Seltzy and just letting it be known that he's just coping and seething. So Dave Meltzer nailed his Brock Lesnar prediction, and that's where that clip comes from that we're all playing and laughing at.
Brock Lesnar, he was not on Raw. They did show footage of his return. They had all of the reaction videos of people going crazy.
They did exactly what I said they would do, didn't I?
Dave?
Tomorrow, I mean, I'm sure there'll be 75 million views for Brock Lesnar's return, and they'll show all these podcasters. Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, why do you care? You're just a bitter, old, coping, old son of a bitch. So Dave Meltzer hits Luigi here, who says they have not beaten the flagship show for the largest wrestling promotion in the world, Dave. Just because you love the style of the AEW wrestlers, so do I, doesn't mean we got to lie about them beating them in the ratings. And then Dave hits him with a Brendan Schaub. Oh, sorry for your loss. Those who know, homeless cats know. So Dave says, sorry for your loss. A smart person would say, wow, it didn't know that. It didn't know that. Yeah, a real smart guy you are, Dave. A super smart person. It's a super smart person. It's a super match. Oh, these are super wrestlers, Bryan. Oh, my God. A smart person would say, wow, it didn't know that. Yeah, you're real smart. A super smart person with math skills would go, let me check that out, and then study the numbers, and after doing so would say, wow, I didn't know that. Dave, you don't study the numbers. I've studied them more than you. Probably not, but like the real actual, because you don't know what the max ones are. You just invent them. You lie about 30% increase on Amazon. You invent them and lie. So you don't know them. Disco says, now start studying viewership across all of the media platforms. Not a hard task, and paints a pretty clear picture. Exactly. Attendance, social media, streaming, cable, everything, Dave. It's just night and day, and you're delusional. So, of course, The Observer, 50% off for new subscribers. Going at a fucking sale, Dave? Going at a business sale here or what? This Ryan Frederick gentleman says it's so fucking hysterical how many people actually had truly believed that Dave owns any part of AEW, and that's why they're trying to keep the ownership private. It started as a comedy bit, then everyone took it serious. I'll take ownership for that, but yeah, it's a joke. Like we were saying, what other explanation could there be? But he doesn't. It's obvious he doesn't. He's just this pathetic. And Meltzer says, it's hysterical because if I did, I'd be in Maui, not working 120 hours a week, let alone praising WWE more than AEW since 2022. All of that has turned around this year. Dave pretending that he's praised WWE more than AEW.
Liar!
Oh my God, bro. Dave is he's just saying anything. So it's not about what's truthful or not. He's just saying anything to combat everything. So we knew Dave Meltzer would give this match 5 stars, Rhodes and Cena. Why? Because of the weapon spots and the false finishes and the kickouts of all the moves. Although that's not why it deserved 5 stars. PWT Universe, you guys understand this. It deserved 5 stars because it's the Hollywood Hogan Rock match of our era, of this new era, of this generation, right? I guess that was my era still, or my generation still, the Hollywood Hogan Rock match. But You guys get what I'm getting at? It's like the modern, the 2020 version of that. That's why it deserves 5 stars, not because of the kickouts and the false finishes. If it wasn't these two super mega superstars at this stage on such an insane event with a fucking insane ending, personally, I would say the false finishes and shit took away from the match and stuff. But Dave, of course, was going to give it 5. We predicted that. Again, talking about predictions, like we called you out. We knew Dave was going to rate all of this shit really high. What did we also call out? He won't give Punk and Gunther the 5 stars, though. We called it out. So a 4.5 stars. Boom. Paul and McIntyre versus Roland Orton, a 3.75. Rather generous, but I think Dave is out of hand with his star ratings, even for WWE. Like, I wouldn't have rated that a 3.75. And that's not to shit on any of the boys either. It's just that's high. He's rates high on most shit and then exaggeratively low on most shit. And the reason is because Dave's playing this game now, and I've broken this down before. He's rating, like, he's not rating based off the history of all time. And he's never explained this, but I think it's what he's doing because we can track this. He's not rating like 5 stars out of like the greatest of all time matches. He's going, okay, what am I going to give the highest rating to this show? Maybe it's 5 stars, maybe it's not. Let's say it's 5. It is. Okay, now I can't give Punk as much as Cena, so I'll give him 4.5, even though that would be a 5, or maybe back in the day it would have been a 4. You guys get what I'm saying? Then he has to go, okay, the TLC, well, that was better than Punk, but I can't give it more than the Cena match. He's rating it like based on what it is that weekend or whatever, or on that show. I swear that's how he's doing it, to control a narrative of like, this is what was good wrestling, this is what wasn't. And of course, even when it comes to WWE, his sicko brain takes over every time. So anyways, Roman and Jay versus Breaker and Reed, a 4. I wouldn't rate that a 4-star match personally. He's out of hand. He's out of touch with these ratings. The tag team TLC, a 4.75. Nope. I think that's too high, especially if you think about all the TLCs. I think that's too high. Naomi versus Ripley versus Sky, a 4. I don't know. I'd have to think about it. That seems high. Stratton versus Jade, a 2. That's probably fair. Maybe a 2 or a 2.5 or a 3. Becky Lynch versus Lyra, just for like the stage it was on, that has to get more points. Becky Lynch versus Lyra, 3.75. Solo versus Jacob in a cage, a 2. Mysterio AJ, a 2.75. Bliss Charlotte Rodriguez Perez, a 3. Zayn versus Cross, a 1.5. Yeah, so there you go. I just think Dave is like overly exaggerative on low rankings and high rankings. Observer says Nick Khan's attitude as a general rule is that unless there is a criminal conviction, it's not an issue. So you could Chris Benoit your family, and as long as there's no conviction, then you can come back. It's so fucking ridiculous. So here we go. Here's Bryan and Dave again joking about the ownership of AEW.
Bryan.
And let's take a listen.
There's information redacted, and
Redacted.
AEW is being requested to unredact the information.
Yeah.
And they don't want to.
Once you go full redact, bro, I don't know if you can unredact yourself in the situation.
What is going on?
The question is that they don't want to redact is the ownership. I mean, like Beatnik LLC, I believe it's called, is the ownership group of AEW. And
if you'd study the business, you wouldn't believe, you would know.
And
if you watched PWT, Dave, you'd be infinitely smarter.
They said that it's like 2 people who reside in Illinois, which would be Tony Khan and either his father or his sister or both. They own over 90%, and everybody else combined owns under 10%.
Everybody else. And now Dave's like, everyone else owns 10%. So now you're either lying again, or you're stooging Tony Khan's business. Why would he trust you with any of this shit? And everyone else. So does that mean when he started this thing, he gave the elite each 1%? Does Cody Rhodes own 1% that we don't fucking know about? Maybe he owns 1%. And this isn't like nefarious. Think about it. Hey, you guys are EVPs. You're signed on. You helped start this company. Hey, Jericho, we want to keep you for life. I can only give you $2 million per year, but I'll give you 1% of the company moving forward and just be AEW for life, brah. Could that not be worked out in a fucking deal? I could totally see the Bucks each owning a percent of it. So he's like, and everybody else. So what? WBD owns what? 5%? each member of the elite owns 1% or something. Like, that wouldn't fucking shock me whatsoever. And that's not like some nefarious thing either. I'm not saying that to shit, but imagine if like Cody Rhodes owns 1% still. That could be why Tony Khan doesn't want people to see. That could be why Cody Rhodes bites his tongue still and puts over AEW, and still gets upset. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I'm one of the guys who made that. Could totally, but it remains to be seen. I don't know
if in fact there is anybody.
Cody Rhodes. I'm not saying that again. People are going to start running with, what if Rhodes owns 1%? I'm not saying that literally, but like, would you honestly be shocked if the elite at the start of this thing, there's like 5 members, they each got 1%? Like, I wouldn't be. And Rhodes is like the best form of like revenge is success or whatever. So he's on a revenge tour. Said it without saying it, really. Maybe he doesn't, but if like the Bucks did, would you be shocked?
There's always been the talk of WBD owning a percentage. I have always believed that's the case because every time.
No, and I'm not saying Tony Khan was cash strapped. I'm saying just to keep people. Like, imagine you go to WWE and they're like, hey, instead of giving you $1 million per year, we'll give you $500,000 per year, but you get 2% of WWE or something, or like 1%. You'd be like, oh, okay. But we want you to stay on for these however many years or whatever the fuck. If you're a guy like Jericho, or if you're the elite who invented the company, it's not about being strapped for cash. It's just an incentive without having to put more cash up front and shit like that. Like, would anybody be shocked if Kenny Omega owned some of AEW? I fucking wouldn't. I would not at all, It only makes sense.
It's been brought up with Tony Khan.
Or like Jericho. Jericho's super rich, man. He didn't like buy in. I don't fucking know. I've been floating that around for a long time.
But he's never denied it. Maybe there's something that we don't know. Maybe I own it. I don't know.
I was not going to joke, but like, hey, at least at the end of this, we can dispense, so to speak, with the idea that you have an ownership stake in AEW.
If I had an ownership stake,
I don't think you're redacted.
Yeah, if I had an ownership stake in AEW, I would not be here. I would be.
Gee, thanks.
I'd be long gone. Are you kidding me?
Well, I'd probably be on an island somewhere, for being honest. The point is, we're not actually being paid.
Why? He's pretending like buying into AEW would cost you so much fucking money to buy in. Like, I don't know. It's ridiculous. So the Observer says WWE scrapped press conferences following PLEs because of Brock Lesnar's return. However, they are reportedly open to the idea of bringing them back in the future. So he's just basically saying they're trying a new thing. I'm going to blame it on this one thing. And if they go back to the other thing, it's because this thing I blamed it on. Dave Meltzer again, talking about smart people. If anyone has to be like, we're smart, we're fucking smart people and shit, they're dumb fucks. Okay. Rule of fucking thumb. I saw this video where this woman, they had these people take an IQ test. And there was this 22-year-old kid, and they all voted on how to rank each other based on who thinks they did the best in this IQ test. And this girl the whole time is like, I actually work in like a biology facility, and I'm like a biologist, and yeah, blah, blah, blah. And this like blue collar kid who he like went into a trade or whatever. And this girl's just holding court, like, well, I actually worked with scientists, like literal scientists. Like, I'm actually working with science. So I blah, 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 blah. Biochemistry. Yeah. So like, ha ha ha, like literally one of those fucking broads. And she's like talking down to everyone, and they organize each other in the order of how they think they'd have done on the IQ test. They rank this 22-year-old kid the lowest, and he's like a trades kid. And then they reveal the actual results. And that chick had the lowest IQ by, mind you, like fucking 14 or 16 points or something like that. She had like 122. The next up from her was like 138 or whatever the fuck. And then the guy who, or maybe not 138, but she was like more than 10. She fucking lost this thing. And that kid was like one of the top. He wasn't the top, but he was like tied for second or whatever. And it just shows you, man, like the people who are like, I'm so fucking smart. I'm so fucking smart. You're just a dumb fuck idiot. Poor people don't like AEW. Low IQ, dumb fuck trailer park trash love WWE. Like, you're the dumb person. You're fucking projecting. This is how we all know, because you're so dumb. You think you're smarter than everyone else. You think you're smarter than us all,
Learn, baby, learn. Meltzer Inferno.
Meanwhile, we're all just like, you are a fucking idiot. So again, Dave says, and what do the smartest people who know my business and read my work say? The value of what those who read say trumps thousands who don't. And then he posts a link to npr.org from 18 fucking years ago, man. He had to travel back. Time cop. He had to travel back in fucking time 2 decades to be like, here's what people thought of me 20 years ago. Holy shit, Dave. And then Niccolo Piccolo just clowning him. And then Dave says, in WWE, virtually all talk about NXT Europe is non-existent. Okay, so then how would you know about it if they weren't talking about it? So Dave Meltzer says, people who say Meltzer math is wrong are people who literally never learned second grade math. Literally never learned second grade math, because I literally, like, this is how fucking dumb Dave is. He thinks he's smart. He's a little fucking kid brain, dude. The people who think this literally didn't pass grade 2 math, because I use Cerebro like I'm fucking Professor X, and I went into the minds of everyone who's ever said Meltzer math, and they all literally didn't pass grade 2 math. Simple division is not a difficult concept. Like, that condescending redact shit is what just irks me about Meltzer. So Dave says, I learn every day. He's afraid of learning and gets exposed every day. Talking about JD. I learn every day. He gets exposed every day. Or is that what you do, bro? Here's the thing. I make fun of JD. JD's also a cool cat. Like, I'm not fully against. I'd fucking do shit with him. I've told you guys, but I'm not going to like pull punches. I'm going to joke about everybody. I joke about my friends all the time. I roast my fucking friends on the show all the time. For you to, I don't fucking know, man. Just, I roast JD. I'll roast him any fucking time, but to be like, he's not learning. He's afraid to learn. Dave, shut the fuck up. No one has a segment where they just roast JD. There's a whole fucking, you're akin to a flute. Look at George is down here putting flutes up. Like, people use flute as a code word, a fucking emoji, Dave. That's what I did to you. That's what I think of you. Oh, so Dave had this to say. They were considering Seth Rollins and LA Knight in a title match on the Sunday show, where, you know, he would win the title on Saturday and defend Sunday. You what? Dave just making shit up. So Seth won the title Saturday, and then he was gonna defend it Sunday, and they were just gonna add an extra match. Or are you fucking dumb and it was always planned for the Monday after SummerSlam, bro? Like, come on, man. So here is Bryan and Dave talking about MVP rubbing people the wrong way backstage in AEW.
Don't think that there aren't people who MVP has rubbed the wrong way, okay? He has. MVP is a guy who's gonna speak his mind. He's going to say what's on his mind. I mean, you can even see it on television sometimes during this interview segments. I mean, he's going to say what's on his mind.
So everyone else isn't, is what Bryan's saying.
He'll do it on commentary. Yes, he does rub people the wrong way sometimes, okay? But, I mean, it's not like he's the only one. That's one of the other reasons this story is so bizarre. It's like, you know how many people rub people the wrong way in every company?
Well, why is it so bizarre? Because you and Dave blew it up into this big fucking thing?
There's a lot of them. But anyway, sure, sometimes it happens.
Because you've been trashing Hurt Syndicate since they come into the fucking company?
I don't think there's a serious issue between MVP and Mike Bailey.
You don't think there's a serious issue? Yeah, it's called being fucking professional. And they're two professionals. And they're two martial artists who fucking walk up to each other and go, hey, it's just business. Shake hands. Let's do a vignette. Let's shut these dirt sheets up. Don't think there's not real heat, guys. We're drumming up shit. They squashed it, but let me remind you, it's all fucked up backstage there, man. They're way better than WWE, man.
Maybe.
Like, what is your objective? You guys are idiots, man. They're stuck in this fucking thing of like, they can't keep it real. Ever, because then it's just like, well, you're the perpetrator of this. You and the sheet and other sheets blew this story up, and then by the end of the night, they're making videos together.
Maybe there's something there, but clearly, I mean, everything's good enough that they did a segment backstage. Okay, my point is the fact that they did that segment for social media doesn't mean that the entire rest of the story is made up whole cloth. Okay, it's not.
So that now put them over for their professionalism, like I did. Put them over People don't like to hear what Phil's got to say. I fucking put them over for their professionalism. You do the same now. Oh, no, it's all fucked up and they're coming to blows, man. 50% off Observer. Sign up now. And I'm the grifter because I fucking give you my opinion on shit and I do funny-ass voices? Fuck you.
Where there's smoke, there's fire. There is some heat on MVP. There are some people that don't like MVP.
Of course
There's some people that
is.
don't like how the Hurt Business is booked.
is.
I mean, none of this is new is the other thing. It's like, why did this all of a sudden come out this week? Like, we've been talking.
Because we've been talking about it forever. Yeah, because you assholes have been talking about it forever. And it got leaked this fucking week by you dirt sheet guys.
Talking about it forever. I asked around yesterday, there's a little bit to it that's maybe not what was written, but in general, like a lot of that.
Hey, Brian. Oh, hey, all this stuff that was said, don't think it's fake. It's all real. I mean, there's maybe a little bit to it that's not real, but yeah, it's all real.
That is the way things are.
Great fucking analysis of the situation there. Holy shit, trying Brian, dude. So we move along here. So Dave, again, he's just arguing you avoided my state. Or Big Boy Show 66 says Flair wasn't just part of a sponsorship deal. They used him on TV for storylines. He performed promos, bumped and was involved in Sting's last match. I'm sorry, Dave, but that's an excuse. And that's in response to Dave saying everyone saw the Jericho tape when it happened. He was swarmed by belligerent fans. Where did he work at the time? What was the reaction? Where he worked when this happened? As for Flair, you absolutely can knock Khan for that. Again, Flair worked for WWE when this happened. So it's just where you work. So Dave Meltzer calls WWE a sleazy company who will work with people who have a bit of a shady past when it comes to Brock Lesnar, but he doesn't keep the same energy for fucking Chris Jericho or Ric Flair. Chris Jericho straight up smacked a bitch one time. Ric Flair's pulled his dick out on multiple people, and he doesn't keep the same energy for that. Well, they worked in WWE. Okay. And the culture's changed. It's a new company. Vince is out of the way. So Brock comes back. Is he not vindicated? If Brock showed up in AEW, would you bring this shit up? But you don't bring it up for Flair and shit. You don't call them sleazy when they're willing to work with fucking people with questionable fucking pasts. So it's not an excuse, Dave. You're just coping constantly. And Dave's like, you avoided my statement. I'm fine with anything people say about Flair and AEW as long as it's consistent, and also bring up WWE, TNA, Car Shield, the lottery, and 1,000 other things. No, Dave, we don't have to bring up all those things. We can bring up pro wrestling companies. Sure, that's fair. But the Lotto Max, Dave, you're a fucking moron. You move the goalpost. We don't need to talk about all that. We're talking about wrestling. If it's only AEW, you're grasping, since he made far more WWE appearances. And we both know if he's a free agent, WWE makes him an offer immediately. So does AEW, though. So what's the difference? He literally works there right fucking now. Dave, you're too dumb to understand what this conversation even is. And then Disco points out the account you're responding to has 0 followers, Dave. He's responding to people. When people talk shit to me, and if I look at their thing and if they have like 7 followers, I just block them now. I don't even fuck around. It's like, okay, this is unreal. You're not even a real person. This guy here says the Netflix numbers were provided by Netflix. The AEW and Max numbers were provided by somebody that also is your friend. And then Meltzer goes, if the Netflix numbers were real for the last week, it would mean less than 300,000 views worldwide were live. No, Dave, again, you're not intelligent enough to have this conversation. You're saying it was less than 300,000 live based on the fucking faux math that you guys are doing over there. So Collision numbers, do the math. How can you get 5.5 million hours and 2.7 million views live and until they stop airing commercials is 2 hours, 39 minutes. And the version up the next day is 1 hour, 59 minutes. Use basic math and make those add up, and keep in mind the 2 point. Holy shit, Dave, just the fact you have to go this deep into it, go this deep into AEW shit.
You are coping and seething. You just can't accept what you're seeing. Yes, you're coping and seething. The truth it is scalding, and now you are molding and coping so hard, coping and seething.
Moving along here, right? So Here's what Dave has to say, or here's what Filthy Tom Lawler has to say about MVP. And he's the legit martial artist, UFC caliber, Ultimate Fighter caliber, MMA fighter. So let's hear his assessment.
Could you imagine MVP and Speedball Mike Bailey hanging out together?
Okay, we got to talk about this. It's being reported MVP has, quote, rubbed a lot of people the wrong way backstage in AEW. According to Fightful, this sentiment has been expressed by a number of talents on the roster. The Hurt Syndicate member has made it known that he does not like Speedball Mike Bailey. Somebody decided we got to throw MVP under the bus.
Yeah, you fucking assholes. God, Brian, we just played a clip where you're sitting there going, we've been talking about this forever. Why is this breaking news? Oh, someone had to throw him under the bus. Yeah, you mean you and Chucklefuck Dave throwing him and Hurt Syndicate under the bus since they signed? Being like, oh, they're just old guys and don't want to put anyone over. Holy fuck, man. Have some self-awareness.
We're going to just lay it on the line like everything. Who they don't want to lose to, who they don't specifically like. I read this and I was like, wow, someone's mad.
You and Dave. Yeah, you and Dave. You're mad. You've gone mad.
I mean, a few people, I'm sure. And it's also because it's Mike Bailey. What, because he wrestles with no shoes?
No, it's not because he wrestles with no shoes. It's because the fucking wrestling that you and Dave like sucks, bro. And Bailey leans more in that camp where it just looks phony and shitty and cheesy. Okay? Now, a lot of people do like the style. A lot of people can't get behind it. A lot of people Lashley's looking at the landscape of AEW and going, they put him in a tag team with fucking Kevin Knight. Like, what does that do for anybody? Let me put over like an actual tag team and then let me like fight for the world title. Like, no, it has nothing. It's because Mike Bailey's never going to be AEW world champion. Like, what the fuck?
Never heard anybody say anything negative about Mike Bailey. You know what I'm saying? Have you ever heard anyone say you've worked?
You've worked. No one's ever said anything negative about Mike Bailey. Yeah, he's a great guy. I'm sure he's a great guy. It's not about that. It's about business, Brian, which you have no fucking concept of. You and Dave.
All over the place.
He's French Canadian.
Is that it?
Mm.
It's just bizarre.
It's really not bizarre. It's really fucking not. You just don't understand it because you don't think critically about this stuff and you take no onus on any of the shit that you cause or any of the narrative that gets leaked out there because of shit that you cause with Dave, with Uncle Dave. So Meltzer, again, he's like the same place that 800,000 or so SmackDown viewers and 800,000 Raw viewers from 1 year ago went. Change of platforms and availability has a great effect on overall numbers. And then Niccolo Piccolo posts this, your new role, like just shilling for WBD. Go apply for a job, Dave. You might as well. You're already tonguing their balls. So Meltzer said, in 2016, 56-year-old dancing Dynamite Dave claimed he had better abs than John Morrison. That's a shoot. In 2020, in 2016, and yeah, fucking Meltzer saying he has better abs than Morrison.
I'm too old to be looking like that, though.
Oh, yeah? That doesn't help your case here, Dave.
Yeah, I know.
You're not too
It's
old to be
weird.
looking like that. Give me a break.
No, you know what though? Seriously, this is gonna. Okay, now, okay. So there was like a little while ago, I decided, since my weight is kind of down, and I used to have like really good abs. I don't know, God, why am I wasting time talking about this? So anyway,
You're a fucking mark for yourself. Get it? Even back then. This is from 2016, posted in 2019. Even a decade ago. Mark for yourself.
I had this goal to have abs like Johnny Mundo, right? So he's here this weekend, and I have better abs than Johnny Mundo right now.
God damn it, man. What kind of person even says shit like this? This is like Brendan Schaub. It's just him and Callan like bragging about shit for fucking 2 hours. That's what Dave does. Like, shut up. That's why my shtick, not to pull the curtain back, that's why my shit is how I fucking am always putting myself over. It's the gimmick. I'm making fun of clowns like Meltzer. Look at this. He's blowing himself to death. Holy shit, man. What a mark.
Really?
Yeah, for real. Because he was smoother than I don't have better abs than Matt Sydal, and I think there might be one or two other guys that were on. But like I'm way older than these guys. But I think there were a couple of guys that here that maybe. But Johnny Mundo. I mean, it's not like he's fat. Johnny Mundo's got a great physique.
It's not like he's fat. No shit, Dave.
Riddle Riddle frickin's got an incredible physique. That dude, I got it. Oh my.
How many best abs? So this is what Dave said recently. Lisa Green says the guy who didn't know what a treadmill looked like. And then Meltzer goes, how many best abs, plaques, and trophies do you have from bodybuilding contest? Oh, Dave's got trophies, man. Dave's based, man. He's like, dude, I got all these plaques for my abs. So the big unanswered question is what made WWE Legal change their viewpoint on Lesnar? Dave says, the belief, despite Janelle Grant's attorneys indicating this wasn't a sure thing and a judge ruling in the case that indicated an investigation was still going after we got word it was over, is that there is no legal case against Vince McMahon, Bryan. That was, believed to have, been tabled, except, at the same time that, the SEC investigation of McMahon completed, which was early January. The civil trial was going. Do they see that as less of a threat? One would think so by this action. If the case goes to arbitration, everything related to Lesnar becomes irrelevant. They see a settlement coming. The Lesnar stuff is likely not a major factor either. Detective Dave is on the fucking case. Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I just think he's in the clear, or else WWE wouldn't fucking touch it with a 10-foot pole again. And anybody criticizing like, well, they were paying him. Well, that's just, they have to honor their contract. Well, Detective Dave, man, he's on it. So Dave Meltzer says Raw isn't doing anywhere near 1.3 million. The Raw number would be in my story on the site Tuesday. And then Machiavelli says, is he suggesting that Netflix figures they provided are inaccurate? Yes, he's calling Netflix liars. So here is Dave text question. Dave is actually posting on Twitter the Raw numbers Netflix are releasing are not real. At what point do you tell the Emperor he has no clothes? Even Dave's co-hosts for over a quarter of a century don't understand or believe Dave's math. So let's take a look here. Dave is trying to say that the numbers Netflix puts out are lies. He's refuting them. We know he's coping and seething. Here's his own co-hosts who just think he's a shithead full of shit.
Oh, God. Okay. Dave is actually posting on Twitter the Raw numbers Netflix are releasing are not real. At what point do you tell the Emperor he has no clothes? So, I listen. Dave is going to do whatever he wants to do with it.
Dave's going to do whatever he wants to do, and I'm not going to call out the fucking bullshit or argue against it, even though I'm pretending to be a journalist because I'm suckling off the teat and I'm going to take over this empire one day, which is totally fine if I just admitted that, or I don't even really need to admit it, but I don't need to make excuses or laugh. Good little jab, am I right? Look, he's going to do what he wants to do. Yeah, that's the whole thing. The Emperor has no clothes. You guys are letting him run around naked. Fuck's sakes, dude.
The Emperor, he has no clothes. So, I listen. Dave is going to do whatever he wants to do with the Netflix ratings. I just let him do it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I.
That's the problem. You're supposed to be his friend. You're supposed to be a trusted journalist as well. Refute his shit. Point out why it's flawed. Even you don't agree with it.
Talk about the anything that comes from Nielsen. I talk about here on the show, usually briefly, but like. I don't trust the Netflix numbers at all. I don't.
Why?
I mean, they don't add up. Okay.
Okay. And what about the Max ones now?
What Dave means by the numbers don't make sense, like he's got a formula. Brandon Thurston has a formula. Netflix. I mean, the numbers that he gets do come from Netflix, and. Yes, you'll say that they fudged them.
And he's trying to say they fudged them, so let me just subtract some based off this math I made up for my formula. But then when it comes to Max and AEW, what does Dave do? Oh, let me add some based on this fake math I do. And instead of calling it out, Bryan, you just sit there and fucking like a little whipping boy. And I don't know, man. I think that's why Bryan's reaching so hard with like this MVP stuff, because he can't like genuinely cover this shit.
Like, how? What is going? I don't understand. Like, I don't. Here's the thing, okay? It doesn't make sense, and so I'm not going to deal with it. That's it. These are the numbers they say. Whatever, okay? I mean, sometimes it'll be like, the equivalent on Nielsen would have been 800,000, and I'm like, okay, listen, that's impossible. I realize that there's not a direct correlation between viewership and like attendance and everything like that, but there's no way.
So listen to what Brian's saying. He's like, there's not a direct correlation. Now he's right. There's not a direct correlation, like 1-to-1 correlation does not equal causation, right? So you can't just definitively, absolutely say, well, the attendances are down, like what we brought up earlier, right? And what Nicolo Piccolo said, what Disco said, what your boy Phil said. Yo, the attendances aren't up. Like, how are they beating Raw, but then Raw's selling out buildings? Now, you can't absolutely 100% definitively say that. Okay, like just if they were beating Raw, that automatically means the attendances are up. However, you can though, in a way, okay, yes. You can't technically you can't say that, but you can though, because why? Every live fucking thing ever that's out there, like if there's a demand for it, if the TV ratings, okay, Donald Trump is like the most famous guy, one of the most famous guys in the world, even before he becomes president. Why? Because his fucking TV show had like Celebrity Apprentice had like fucking tens of millions of people watching it. It's like when the demand's there, the fucking people show up. Like, why did 80 billion people show up and faint when the Beatles walked out on the street? You know, like the crowd because they were lying about because they weren't a draw on TV or whatever, you know, their albums didn't sell, but the crowds turned up for them. That would be such an anomaly. And that's the point we're trying to get across. Like, okay, we can say it is the reason. And Alvarez, to give him credit, he is agreeing with me here. He's like, I know we can't say it's correlation equals causation, but like, come on. If you're trying to say like it's beating Raw and look at then why aren't the attendances like Raw? It just doesn't make sense, okay? When Chris Angel Mind Freak has the #1 show on TV, his show comes on and millions are gathering around to watch Mind Freak, and then he's fucking doing residencies, selling tickets every weekend. So much so, you know, it's like, come on, man. Is that not... Can we not say it's because of the fucking viewership and the ticket sales? Like, it's crazy to pretend like those don't factor into one another, you know?
Nielsen would have been 800,000. And I'm like, okay, listen, that's impossible. I realize that there's not a direct correlation between viewership and like attendance and everything like that.
There kind of is, though.
But there's no way that 50% fewer people could possibly be watching Raw this year. And meanwhile, they're drawing 11,000 to every... It doesn't make any sense, okay?
Right.
So I don't want to deal with it.
Right. And that's just it, is that like... And I don't know if he was about to start arguing with Dave there, but you know, you think all the people in the crowd at Raw aren't watching fucking Raw every week? Like, I just don't understand. What do you think? They're just there because wrestling's in town? Okay, then why doesn't AEW do that? Why don't all those same people tune in when AEW comes to town? Because, oh, well, wrestling's in town. You can't explain it any other way, right? So, yes, like on a technical level, it's not 1-to-1, but it pretty well has to be related, you know? So it's quite funny to hear Brian trying there, but he's like, I just won't touch it or argue with Dave. And we can just see analytics. So here's Dave, like 800,000 or so SmackDown viewers and 800,000 Raw viewers from 1 year ago went. Look at the analytics. Look at the SmackDown analytics compared to fucking Dynamite, dude. Just interest, like of people Googling it, like looking shit up. What happened on SmackDown? Who returned? What did I miss? Well, legal link. I don't have Netflix. I don't have Peacock or USA or whatever. Where can I stream this? You know, that's how much more interest is going on. All of it, Dave. So like these hips don't lie, dude. These dips don't lie. Oh, it's on tonight. I know these dips don't lie, and he's starting to feel right. So, the Raw number on Netflix is gimmicked. I knew it. So yeah, Dave arguing with Grok again. Oh boy. So Grok is like, Uncle Dave is saying Netflix has reported 5.5 million viewing hours and 2.7 million views for the WWE show. Doesn't add up mathematically using the show's length, blah, blah, blah. Meltzer goes, well, somebody went to Grok to do their math and they came up with 230,000 live worldwide watch Raw. Obviously, that's fake. Ergo, the Netflix numbers for Raw are gimmicked. Dave, this is the part that you should be ashamed of that nobody's going to bring up but me, because I am the king of fucking cooking you.
Fucking Mark!
You're on the same level as Grok right now, bro. You and Grok are operating on the same fucking wavelength, you know?
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Round 3, I guess, between Dave and Grok. So again, this guy here, Jonathan Clark says, really? Laugh, laugh, laugh. The Death Riders and Mox were awful. And then Dave says this, okay? Dave says, people complained about Moxley for months before realizing he was the key in drawing that All-In Texas house. He was the key in drawing it? He can't even draw in Ohio, bro. He needed Joe and a cage to draw 5,000. We've seen hundreds of thousands of viewers dip off since he's been on this fucking run. Then most who understand business changed their tune. No, nobody changed their tune. Nobody's changed their tune on Mox or you, Dave, or their tune about AEW. You can dislike them and say they were bad, but the company turnaround, you can dislike them and say they were bad, but the company turnaround and the success of the main event tells me they accomplished what they set out to do. What did they accomplish to set out to do? They did one of their lowest numbers, followed by a 7-11 that you guys are all fucking running around dancing like it's the Beyonce video 7-11. No. You guys are running around dancing, taking victory laps for 711,000 people, dude. So this is just, it's overwhelming. And all I tweeted out, I just said, prove it. Prove that Mox was the key draw, whatever that means. Like, what were the quarter hours on his fucking segments, dude? Everyone's still complaining about him. 711K viewers isn't time to throw a party. That's why AEW can never get ahead. Dave hurts AEW more than helps them with his bullshit. He doesn't even represent AEW fans, just his own shark-brained ideas and narrative. So did I cook him, Chad? I think I cooked him right there because it's just like, come on, man. You're not helping here. They can't get ahead because you're acting like this is beating Raw. So then when they really beat Raw, it's going to be Cry Wolf. And we're not, because listen, maybe there is a time that comes up if they do turn things around. Not they turned it around. So if they do start to turn things around, Dave, maybe they've started turning things. Okay, maybe I'll give you that. Like maybe I don't really think that, but let's say they're starting to turn things around. You're just like, oh, they turned shit around. So then we're like, well, you said they turned shit around before. They haven't even turned things around yet. They don't even get a chance. They get written off before they even get a chance. And it's just like, oh, they beat Raw. Let's say there was in like a year's time. Let's say they're growing. They're doing like 700, 800. Let's say they're tickling 800 again. And we're like, oh shit, man, it's maybe coming back a bit. And then someone wrote a piece. But we're being honest. Like, well, fuck, they're the strong number 2. They're growing bit by bit here. And then someone wrote a piece like, look, man, they may have beat Raw if you factor in, listen, like if we're giving Netflix at their worst and we're giving Max at their best, man, this maybe have beaten Raw. That would be a compelling story. That'd be a piece that I'd be putting over on this show. Like, dude, it's heating up. It's a war, brother. But instead, Dave is jumping the fucking shark on AEW's behalf. He doesn't even represent their fans. The fans don't want that. We want you to shut up about it and stop saying they're beating Raw. Do you notice how AEW, as Bishop Dyer pointed out earlier in the show, they're not talking about WWE as much? Dave, you do the same. Follow suit, man. You're fucking things up. So the very last clip of the evening, an extra long Dave Meltzer dumb moment, but our viewership, I mean, we're at like over 400 watching across X and YouTube, so you guys are the fucking best. So AEW is being watched by more people in years, but live attendance is down because local promotion. So reminder, Jim Cornette is free, so is PWT. Tony Khan's father, Dave Dementia Meltzer, charges $14.99. Here is what Dave Meltzer's assessment was, and he's gonna cope and seethe, which I'm not gonna play it again, but it's so fitting here. Maybe I fucking should.
This just in, we have confirmed that Dave Meltzer fears PWT and flutes.
So here's his take on it's because of the local promoting. So if Dynamite's beating Raw, then it's their local promoting that get all the people to Raw for the sellouts. Like, what are you talking about?
AEW is being watched by more people than in years, but live attendance is not big at all.
Why would it not be big? Hey, that Chris Angel show is being watched by more people than ever, but no one's going to the shows. Hey, that fucking circus clown over there, more people are seeing him than ever. But he's not a fucking draw but he's not a draw as part of the circus. Like, it doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Hey, the Beatles sold more records than fucking ever. More people heard their music than ever, but No one fucking knows them. These giant crowds that are showing up, it's just because they locally promoted. They put up the posters locally and they were up there fucking taping them, stapling them, right? Like, what is he fucking talking about? It's so ludicrous.
People go like, why is that? And it's just like, a lot of it has to do with local promotion and not advertising matches far enough ahead of time. And he doesn't do live.
Not advertising far enough ahead of time, because WWE advertises way fucking ahead of time all the time. Come on now.
Live shows.
They're selling out. They're doing big sellouts based on fucking just announcing, here's an event here. Do we even have one Survivor Series match announced yet? They've sold goddamn 25,000 tickets already? Sellout?
As much for the live audience as for the TV audience, whereas
that's because local promoting. Hey, we're doing this wrestling show, or is it because it's fucking hot and the TV numbers reflect that and you're lying?
WWE tries to really do both, if you know what I mean. There's things that you could do, and he is doing like match at the end of the show, that are really good that aren't on TV, like, when he brings in Mystico and Mascara Dorada.
Dave, no one gives a fuck if he just brings in Mystico or Mascara Dorada. Stop marking out about these guys. No one gives a fuck if he does a great match that isn't on TV. Why isn't he pulling a WWE and popping the highest rated at the end of the show by putting on a fucking main event that everybody wants to see at the end of the show? In the UFC, are the most people watching the main event or the fucking opening segment, the opening fight? Combat sports. Okay, so there's more people watching the fucking opening boxing match than Anthony Joshua's fight at the end. Like, what are you talking about? Why isn't he putting, it's a great match? I mean, everyone's minds would be blown. Then why isn't it like, come on, man. It's just literally saying anything, just throwing fucking a handful of spaghetti at the wall, hoping one of the noodles stick.
Match at the end of the show, that are really good that aren't on TV, like, when he brings in Mystico and Mascara Dorada and stuff. But that's still, because they're not TV stars in the United States, it's like, I think Tony sees it because he's a hardcore fan. It's like, oh man, I'm getting this bonus match with Mystico and Mascara Dorada at the end of the show. But and to some of their audience, that's great. But to a lot of their audience, it's like, I don't know these guys.
It's not even a lot of their audience. It's all the fucking people that watch WWE that tried to watch when AEW would get 1 million viewers. It's all those people who no longer watch it, and they're like, well, I don't fucking know these guys. So it's not just the AEW fans, man. It's the casuals, the lifeblood of every fucking industry, period. Only morons don't understand this. Nobody fucking, okay, yes, some people eat McDonald's every single day, 3 times a day. Supersize me. Most people casually consume McDonald's. Most people casually consume television shows. You don't watch every show that's put on TV. You watch the ones you fucking like. We could just say this about everything. People casually buy bread. You don't only buy bread. You buy a bit of fruit, a bit of bread, a bit of fucking, milk, here's some meat, whatever the fuck. The casuals are the lifeblood of every fucking industry.
Of course, comparing it to the Attitude Era is just ridiculous. But like Austin and Rock and Jericho and Triple H were the ones in those dark matches at the end of those shows.
Yes.
And that's a lot different from that strategy.
Exactly. It's not like, and they don't do house shows. That's why. So they're not going to have the big stars do the fucking dark matches after the show and all this. And the live events just aren't as good, man. WWE puts on way better TV and all of that. It's just what it is. Joe Budden isn't freaking out going, oh man, OTC, like freaking out. No celebrities who go to AEW are like melting down over the experience. And Dave, you just don't study the goddamn business. And that was Dave Meltzer's dumb. That's all I got tonight. We've gone so long tonight. That was Dave Meltzer's dumb moment of the week.